prayer. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks and praise for today. We thank you for your mercies, which are new each day. We thank you for gathering us here today, Father, and even as a company, as we present our latest updates to the public, Father, we pray that you will guide these proceedings and that your word will be with us. We thank you for health and strength, and we ask you to be with us as we journey through. In your most precious name we pray. Amen. And just a safety tip, when we leave here this morning, we are expected to go a little higher up to the plant, so at least you can see the generators are there. And so just when you go, the plant itself is not fully complete. There's still some fencing to be done, and you may still see some wires around. So when you walk, as we ask everybody to wear closed shoes, we will provide your helmets and your earplugs. And so just be careful as you traverse throughout the plant. You will be guided, so please do not stray away from the path. Wherever you are guided, that's where you go. All right? Thank you so much. Again, good morning, everybody. Let me welcome in our presence this morning the General Manager of Domlec, Bertilia McKenzie, the Chief Operations Officer, Domlec, Dave Stamp, our Restoration Coordinator, Daryl Dalrymple, and in our presence, we welcome Mr. Nigel Hossein, who is the Business Development Manager of Agreco Caribbean. We welcome you again this morning, and we thank you for joining us at such short notice. We welcome those of you listening via DBS Radio and, of course, via the company's Facebook page. At this point, let me ask the General Manager, Bertilia McKenzie, to do her opening remarks.
Thank you, Adina, and good morning to the media gathered here and to Dominica in general and persons across the world listening. I want to thank you, the media, for coming to this press conference. Your presence is greatly appreciated. You will remember that on September 14th, 2023, we had a face-to-face press conference right here. And at that time, the morning of that day, we had a complete system failure. And Domlec at that time notified the country that we were facing a capacity shortfall, and we informed the country of what we intended to do to address the shortage in capacity that we are facing. And we itemized immediate-term solutions, short-term solution, and medium to long-term solution. So I will just go through what we had said and what has been done. Under immediate-term solutions, we indicated that we would undertake an assessment of our generation system by utilizing the services of a generation consultant. This assessment was undertaken from September 18th to September 22nd. We also indicated that we would commission the 800 kilowatt generator, which had been leased to Domlec by the government of Dominica. The generator was commissioned on September 19th, 2023. The third immediate term solution was leasing temporary generation, and at that time we had said 2 megawatts from Agreco. We have in fact leased from Agreco and are leasing from Agreco 3 megawatts of capacity. The units came online on November 26th, 2023. As a short-term solution, we did indicate that we intended to procure an additional 2 to 4 megawatts of generation subject to IRC approval. The government of Dominica has indicated that it has procured and will lease generating units to Domlec. As we have said, the medium to long-term solution is a geothermal power plant of 10 megawatts. At this point, I want to bring something to the public's attention. And I must say reiterate because I know that Domlec, through various Domlec employees and a dinner on the biweekly radio programs carried on 5 radio stations, we want to highlight the fact that we had several setbacks during the process of trying to deliver on these assurances, these solutions that we had said to you on September 14th that we would do. And I just want to highlight 2 of these. On September 22nd, 2023, we suffered a pipeline failure at Trafalgar, which resulted in the power station at Trafalgar being out of commission. This was repaired expeditiously, hence the reason why there was adequate capacity to take us through the independence season. However, on November 7th, 2023, a landslide affected sections of the pipeline in Trafalgar. That pipeline leads to the Trafalgar power plant. And this caused the power plant to be completely unavailable to assist with the capacity shortfall. The plant is still out of commission as repairs continue. Domlec thanks its customers for the patience they've displayed in the past months. The inclusion of the Agreco units as part of our generation fleet is expected to improve our reliability. Domlec thanks its employees, particularly those in the generation department, the ET&D department, and in fact, all employees. Look at Adina, look at Tamara, look at Daryl, look at Stam. Look at Junior Toussaint, where is he? He's at the back. He was the project leader for the Agreco project. We want to thank all our employees who provided support services during this time of crisis. My staff continue to work hard to ensure that our generation system delivers what it was intended to do, and my staff need to be commended. My staff and I are still standing by the grace of God. At this point, Domlec wishes to reiterate that as the load grows, long-term addition to generation will be required, and it is our expectation that the geothermal plant will meet this need. I want to thank the media for helping us to keep our customers apprised of developments as they unfolded during this period. And I know that we will continue to have the excellent relationship that we do with you. Thank you so much. It's really greatly appreciated. And once again, we thank our customers for their understanding during this crisis. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Mark. Let me now invite our Restoration Coordinator, Daryl Dalrymple, who has been overseeing the restoration process from the time we started a few months ago. Daryl?
Okay, good morning everybody, those online and those listening via the various media. I really do not know if I have much to add to what Mrs. Mackenzie has said. I think it has been quite clear in her presentation. However, what I can add to what she has said is basically what's happening at the hydro plant. I think the availability of the hydro unit is critical to where we want to be in terms of generating capacity. As Mrs. Mackenzie mentioned, there was this landslide on the 22nd that took off a section of the pipe and rendered the New Trafalgar plant unavailable completely. That section of the pipe has been replaced or repaired, and while that was being done, we had some inspection done, and we observed that there were other sections of the pipe that needed urgent attention. And as such, we decided to take the opportunity to do the repairs on a critical section of the pipe that we refer to as the cliff face. That's a real high-risk job that will be undertaken by a contractor that we have already engaged. But this work will further prolong the return of the new Trafalgar plant to service. And so that will affect our generating capacity for some time. We expect that pipeline to be completed by mid-November, December, sorry, somewhere about the 18th, the 19th, that week of December. After that is done, then we will have the new Trafalgar plant available for generation. So in terms of Domlec being able to meet the demand on the system, we think that, and we believe that by that time, we'll be in a much more comfortable position to say, yes, we think that we have arrived where we were before. So again, I just want to urge the public to be patient with us, and again thank them for their tolerance, because I know everybody wants their power, including us. So again, thanks for being tolerant with us as we work to restore our generating capacity to what it was before this crisis commenced. Thanks.
There will be an opportunity for you to ask questions, so just be a little patient. I want to invite Mr. Nigel Hussain to the podium. Mr. Hussain is the Business Development Manager of Agreco Caribbean, and he flew in to be with us today, and of course to ensure that the installations in the new plants, I would like to call him Agreco Fonkole or Fonkole Agreco, and just to give us an overview of the collaboration between Agreco and Domlec, and exactly what are they providing to us at this time, and maybe give us an idea of how long his team is expected to be on island. Nigel?
Thank you. Good morning, listeners. Agreco, we are pleased to be offering this assistance to Domlec and, by extension, the customers and people of Dominica. And it's something that we do. It's part of our core business. We are a global company, over 6,000 employees, headquartered in Glasgow, Scotland. But we have been doing a lot of work in the Caribbean for the past 20 years. We provide, particularly for the Caribbean region, emergency power generation solutions. And when Domlec came to us, it's part of what we do and what we know. So we were more than pleased to provide that assistance. We are providing a 3-megawatt plant, as the General Manager, Bertilia, alluded to in her presentation, in her speech. We are here on an initial 6 months contract duration. And what we do, we provide guaranteed management team and how we can assist in the medium term until you get that long-term geothermal plant, 10-megawatt plant in place. We can provide, apart from, I can tell you, I know the challenges they face as Agreco. Island utilities, not only in the Caribbean, but globally. As I mentioned, we are a global company. And you face, as island utilities, a lot more challenges. It's a much more fragile system. There's no power grid to interconnect to when you run into difficulties. So the challenges being faced by Domlec and in this situation is nothing new or unique. You know that it occurs throughout the region. We have been doing business in the Caribbean for the past 20 years. So we look forward to providing this reliable supply over the next 6 months, and we are here to assist further in any other medium-term solutions required. Thank you.
Thank you, Nigel. And my last, but certainly not least on my agenda, Dave Stam, the Chief Operations Officer of Domlec. And I want to ask Mr. Stam to give us a little overview. We've started this load shedding capacity management program for a few months now, and it has definitely affected the company in general, and of course, the relationship with our customers not being able to supply their needs. So I want Mr. Stam just to give us an overview of how much effect this has had on us.
Thank you, Adina. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to listeners and viewers. Good morning to our customers, our patient customers. Thank you very much. Let me just give a quick synopsis of where we are today and how the Agreco system has assisted us. Last week, we were load shedding, in some cases, more than 3-4 megawatts of load shedding. So many of our customers were inconvenienced last week. Today, we are available capacity, including the Agreco units, of about 18.5 megawatts, or thereabouts. Our projected peak load for today is around 15.5 megawatts. So we have a 3 megawatt reserve margin. The Agreco units came online on Sunday. We are still doing what we call the commissioning process, because to have a 3 megawatt system on a grid such as ours, we have to do a number of tests, due diligence, etc. But fortunately, those tests can be done while the unit is serving the public. So we are still in the commissioning process and doing the commissioning tests. But the service of the units are available to serve the public. And the effect was immediate. Yesterday, we had no load shedding, and we're pleased about that. Today, we are also not projecting load shedding. But even though we still have the load shedding projections that we sent out from last week, we kept it with the advisory that it is pending because we are still in the commissioning process. So just to inform the public that we are not projecting, but in the event that, because we're still in the testing process, in the event that a unit develops an issue and the testing, we have to take units off to redo or to adjust some parameters and put it back on, just so that the public knows that it's not fully handed over yet. So just bear with us. But we're pleased to announce that so far, so good. It has had immediate effect. And I thank Nigel and his team for working with us diligently to get that done. As I just want to add to what Daryl mentioned, in addition to the units at Trafalgar, we currently have another diesel units that has been out of service for major maintenance, and we hope to have that return to service pretty soon, certainly by mid-December or even earlier. And that should put us in also in addition to the Agreco unit and the return of the Trafalgar unit, as Daryl mentioned, we hope to have this additional capacity in the near term. And this will facilitate us to do maintenance and some other stuff that we have pending. And then next year we have some other medium-term solutions that we're working on in collaboration with the government of Dominica. You would have heard the Honorable Prime Minister mention about 4.8 megawatts of capacity that they're supporting us. So we're looking forward to having those discussions and preparing to receive that capacity. And we're also working in collaboration with the government to install a 5 megawatt hour battery energy storage system. That will also assist us with respect to our system reliability and our capacity management issues. So we have these near-term plans. We also have medium-term plans for next year, and of course, the ultimate long-term plan is to receive geothermal power. So hopefully that's a good synopsis of where we are and what. So we are continually working to overcome this in the near term and also in the longer term. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave Stamp. At this time, we would welcome questions that you have. If you have any question, just please raise your hand, and we will get to you. Curtis?
Yeah, my question is for Mr. Dave Stamp. Based on the statistics, my question is for the generation manager, Mr. Dave Stamp.
My name is Curtis Matthew. Based on the statistics we've heard this morning, can we conclude that the worst is behind us at this point in time? So the manager, Mr. Stamp, can answer that question.
Thank you, Curtis.
To answer that question, Curtis, it's a very good question, and we thank you for that. We are in a much better place than we were, obviously, from last week by the addition of the Agreco system. We are not where we want to be because the statistics I gave you says we have a 3 megawatt reserve margin. We have our largest unit in the system right now is close to that in terms of capacity. So if that unit develops a problem, then we are back to running on the edge. So we are not completely out of the woods, but we are near to the edge of the woods, if you want to put it that way. So we're not deep in the middle of the woods as we were. So we're closer to the edge of the woods, and we're seeing the savannah and so on. So we're closer, but we're not there yet. So those other activities we mentioned that we want to achieve before the end of this year, those will then take us outside, a little bit outside of the woods, and then next year with the additional capacity, then I would say to you, Curtis, that the worst is behind us.
You've also mentioned load shedding did
Not happened yesterday. The possibility may not happen again today. Would that be the first time in the last month we've seen 2 days without load shedding?
Well, no, because you recall that we went through the entire Independence and Creole Fest season without any load shedding, right? And then immediately after that, the pipeline, we had that incident with the pipeline. So since Independence and Creole, then this is the first time that we have consistent, consecutive periods without load shedding. So yes, so that is, we are really, really, really pleased for that.
In a while. But I want to ask the manager,
Yes.
Mrs. McKenzie, about the relationship that exists right now with the IRC. Can you tell us what that relationship is like right now with the IRC?
At this time, we have a working, functional relationship with the IRC. Answered your question?
Don't go. Mrs. McKenzie, you did say that your staff has been working very, very hard, and it's been under trying circumstances. There has been a lot of talk that you would have resigned, but you are still there. Can you tell us, you are still there, yes. Can you tell us why so much talk? Because it has been said on social media that you have been brutally honest in terms of what you have to say to the public of what is going on with Domlec, and as a result, you have been pressured to resign. Can you tell us something what is really going on, please?
Can you give me a direct question, Kala?
Do you intend to resign from your post as Domlec General Manager?
In my tenure at Domlec, I have thought about resigning many times when I was in HR and as General Manager, several times during my tenure at Domlec. And I've been at Domlec for 26 years. So I answered you. During my tenure at Domlec, I have thought on several occasions, for whatever reasons, personal and otherwise, whether I should resign or not, to resign. And I've been at Domlec for 26 years. That's my answer to you.
You have no intentions of resigning?
I answered you. Should I stay? Curtis, you want to ask me a question?
I'm still there. I think was it the last press conference or the one before that, the Prime Minister did indicate that I think one of the damages that was done to the power plant may have been caused for sabotage, and there was some sort of investigation. Can you tell us something about that, please? I think when this stuff was...
Yes.
He
no,
did
the second incident with the wood stave,
yes.
Well, we did report it to the police. I do not have any up-to-date information on it, on where it is, but we did report it to the police. As a matter of fact, the particular employee, meaning to say the person responsible for the hydro, did go to the headquarters, make a report and whatever, and we officially reported it to the police. But I can't. It's been filed with the police, so I can't give an update at this time.
But you all still think it was an act of sabotage?
That second incident?
No, the first one.
No. There was the first incident with the wood stave pipe where a tree fell on the wood stave pipe. That's the first one. The second one with the wood stave pipe, yes, certainly, I do believe it was.
Thank you. Yes, my other question, Mrs. McKenzie. We are told that the entire process, going through the load shedding, inviting technicians to arrive and so on, it would have cost Domlec a significant amount of money. Can you at least, if not release figures, give us an idea how much it would have cost the company to go through the entire process? Of course, that process continues.
The process continues, and it would not be prudent of me to give a figure at this time.
Right, but
when we've tabulated everything, and as I said, the process continues, we would share with the public, what it cost us, because it's not only the bringing in persons, it's also claims that customers are making, and we are getting a significant number of claims from the customers, stuff that happened to the refrigerator, the televisions, and so on, as a result of the load shedding. Yeah.
Can you speak to these customers now, at this opportunity, what they should do if they are affected by the load shedding, what they should do at this moment? Because some people are still saying they're not sure who they should go to. They have appliances that have been affected. Can you speak to these people right now?
Yes. I will hand this over to a very capable public relations officer.
Thank you very much. I know she's very capable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Mark. Just to answer your question, Curtis, customers who have appliances that have been affected as a result of some of the unscheduled outages that we have had, there's a process in which they can claim. We can send the claim to them via email. They can come into the office to get a claim. Of course, there's some information that you must have accurately to file the claim as to when the outage occurred. If you can give us a time span within which the outage occurred, because, we must clarify everything before we can accept reliability for the claims. So as I said, they can WhatsApp us. There are a number of numbers, 275-7083, 275-5694. Myself, 275-0502. You can WhatsApp any of these numbers. You send us an email. We can send the form to you via email, or you can collect the form from our main office in Roseau or Portsmouth. You file the claim. There's a process. Of course, the technicians have to go out to inspect whatever it is that you claim that has been damaged. So customers, please, if you are filing a claim, do not get your own technician to come in and look at your appliance and then ask us, for a claim on it. We need to see it ourselves to verify that it is as a result of the power outage that your appliance was damaged. So please just put them aside, you fill out your claim, and you just let the process take its course.
And Mr. Stanmore, the manager,
Just want to ask about the company Agreco. They have been around, as you said, over the last few weeks. And I just heard the official from Agreco stating that they intend to be around for some time. Any ideas as to how long they will be here assisting Domlec in that process?
Well, he did indicate that the contract, we have a 6-month contract
Right.
with Agreco. So they are going to be here for 6 months in the first instance. And as he said, negotiations will continue with Domlec. If we need further assistance from Agreco, we'll probably enter into a new contract with them. Right, Nigel? Yes, so they're here for 6 months in the first instance. Yes.
Yeah, okay, we understood that you have an agreement for 6 months with Agreco. But are we going to see the costs passing to the customers?
I'll ask the general manager to take that. He wants to know if the cost for the Agreco contract is going to be passed on to the customers.
There is a tariff mechanism that we have, but at this time there's no intention to pass on the cost to the customer.
Mrs. McKenzie, what do you make about the cost
That consumers pay for electricity at this time. Some people feel that there have been some areas, some measures taken to give customers some relief, but some customers are still saying the cost is still very high. How do you respond to this?
I will say, as I've said before, that since 2006, there has been no increase to the Domlec tariff. Absolutely none. The fluctuations that you will see in the price of the commodity is due to the fuel surcharge. The number of gallons of fuel, of diesel fuel, utilized in any month, coupled with the price of the commodity. And we have seen an increase in the price of fuel from our suppliers over the last few months.
Yeah, but would you say now that the price to
Customers, that price is still very high. Would you say, based on what you know, that the customers still pay a high price for the cost of electricity? In 2023.
The price of electricity is high. Yeah.
So you would say that the customers
Pay a high price for electricity.
Who pays the price, Curtis?
The customers.
Okay. You've answered your question.
Thank you very much. Before you leave, can you tell us about the negotiations going on between Domlec and the IRC in terms of the tariff review?
Oh, okay. Domlec is in the process of filing for a tariff. And this process is on...
New tariff.
No,
Or tariff increase.
Review, a tariff review.
Right.
A tariff review. No one knows at this point what the tariff will be because it's a tariff review. So what is happening now is that we are submitting to the IRC various components that will feed into the tariff. And that has been happening since last year and continues this year. So this has been going well from our standpoint.
You have any ideas how long that review will take?
I expect at least by the first quarter of next year that this should be completed.
Should be completed.
Look at this as in terms of the relationship between the IRC and Domlec. But we get the feeling that these two arms of government are at odds with each other. When you submit stuff to the IRC, they sometimes do not agree, and as a result, Domlec is on the receiving end. How do you respond to that?
I would first like to make a correction. Domlec is not an arm of government. Domlec is a private company, and the majority shareholder is the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica, having purchased the company from Imera in March, and which took effect April 1st, 2022. Just a correction. As of now, Domlec and the IRC have a functional working relationship.
Is it functional?
No.
Yes. Mr. Case picks up the phone and calls me, just like that. Yes, right, exactly. And so do I, right. And we correspond with each other. We communicate with each other. I'm not sure what the media wants me to say, but I've said to you, Kalai and Curtis, that Domlec and the regulator has a working, functional relationship.
Would you say, Mrs. McKenzie, that
This process, load shedding, as we've said all day, it will significantly dent the profits that you make at the end of the year. And by the way, can you tell us, by the way, what the profits were like last year and whether, in fact, this load shedding process will significantly dent your profits this year?
That is what I will say to you is that certainly when your customers are not online, when the meters are not spinning, that affects your revenue. And so load shedding has not done Domlec well at all with regards to its revenues, and ultimately the level of profit it's expected to generate when we did our planning. I do not want to speak to last year because I can't remember the exact figures, so I can always get that information to you later. Okay? Curtis, you are very happy to have me here, so you could ask me a lot of questions, right? It's okay. I'm glad that you all are here.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, so I just want to thank you all again for being here. I want to thank Mrs. McKenzie, Daryl Dalrymple, Dave Stamp, and Mr. Nigel Hussein for being here this morning. And for the media, you always respond to our call, and we are really appreciative of that. And I'm sure you will continue to do so in the future. And as I said, when we leave here this morning, we are just going to take a short tour of the plant, so at least you can get some footage to show your customers and the people of Dominica that the machines are here and they are functioning. So thank you so much again, and we can walk or you can drive because there may be not so much parking up on the hill. All the vehicles are up there already, so we can carpool if we so need to. All right, thank you so much.
That's where we come to the end of the outset broadcast at Domlec's office at Fokole. Press conference called by the Dominica Electricity Company, Domlec, and we heard from the manager of Domlec, Mrs. McKenzie, and other officials of Domlec, including the Chief Operating Officer, Mr. Stamp, the Restoration Coordinator, Daryl Dalrymple, and the representative as well from Original Company. So that's it from us, DBS Radio, on behalf of the technicians on duty, Aaron Wilshire and Kyle Charles. We go back to Studio 1, the Ted Dilly Studio. Studio 1, the Ted Dilly Studio.